Oh, God.
Whoa.
We are on fire. But we're good now.
Wow.
That was close.
Dumpster fire.
Sorry, Matt.
Wow. That was just for you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I wasn't here last week, and I don't remember that, but that was awesome.
I like that. I like the fire.
I like
I'm
the
a big
physical
fan of that.
comedy of you blowing it away, too.
Yeah, that was good.
That was excellent.
I can't wait
That
until
fire
next
was
week.
scary.
I'm sorry, but
glad
all
you put it
compliments
out.
must be submitted in writing.
I comment on YouTube, but
Yeah.
I'm not at home right now.
Hey, this is Spark of Madness. I'm Matt. That's Aaron over at the controls, and we are joined by our special guests, Matt and Josh from the
We're special.
special, very special,
All right.
very special. You're gonna love this or not podcast. We were on your guys' show.
3 weeks ago?
Yeah, we recorded it a while ago, but it just came out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we did Tammy.
This is payback.
Tammy and the T-Rex.
That's right.
Would
I'm
you guys
sorry.
describe your show as? Do you guys do a monthly movie podcast? Monthly, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
Would you describe it as like you watch bad movies or ridiculous ones that you kind of like? Like, how would
Okay,
you frame it up?
This is how it goes. Matt loves bad movies, like genuinely loves bad movies, like
Okay.
thinks they're amazing, and he keeps trying to convince me that they're great, but they're not. They're absolutely terrible. They're it's some of the worst shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Like it's really bad. Like and
Ages
it's-
16 and up.
Yeah. So Aaron likes to just go ahead and put it in there.
See, I told you.
Yeah, it's really bad, and like he's found a couple that have been like terrible. Like
Well,
we watched Mazes and Monsters, the original Tom Hanks film, which was pretty good. Simply Irresistible, which is a rom-com, and I love rom-coms because they're ridiculous. So I mean, there's been a couple that have been okay, but
I picked a few that I thought you might really enjoy.
yeah, but
and
no,
it turned out I hated
no.
them. So
they were really bad.
I mean, I think, and Aaron, you can correct me if
Yes.
I'm wrong, but like Tammy versus and the T-Rex wasn't. It's a terrible movie, but it was still fun.
yeah,
which I think is
exactly
the whole point, right?
That's the kind of movie I enjoy.
Aaron shaking
was
his head.
no, it was not
Yeah.
fun.
It was awful.
Matt, don't cover for yourself because you do
all
not
right.
like it either.
But you know what? That's part of the fun.
No. I liked it on the like secondary like sewer scale.
I liked it on the garbage level. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm
yeah.
comparing it to an actual dumpster fire, it's okay.
So
It burned nicely.
There's a reason I framed up. We started the conversation this way because we've been doing a whole month of fantasy movies where we've ended with what we've asked you to come on for.
This is the culmination.
which
no
is,
pressure.
No,
Exactly.
You know,
I'm
because
feeling
I know
attacked
you
here.
guys like bad movies. Well, we're going to talk about Krull from 1983.
Which is not a bad movie.
Which was a year after I was born.
We're going to get into whether it's bad or not. But then we'll give it just like you guys will give it a
Rating
number
out
out
of
of
10,
10. But let's go ahead and dig in because Krull is, I wasn't here last week, but the previous movies have all been this very like strict fantasy theme, and this one kind of takes that, but like adds in a bunch of
It's pretty
stuff
light
for
sci-fi.
fun.
Yeah.
How would you guys describe? I don't even know how you would even describe the plot of this. I watched this a couple days ago, and I just kind of remember like a mashed potatoes of like random stuff happening.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
to me,
it's a
I mean,
whole
it's
lot of
it's a
stuff.
classic princess rescue story.
Yeah, that's.
I mean,
true.
it's like if Disney took Arthurian legend and mashed it together with Star Wars and tried to create a movie out of it, which now Disney owns Star Wars and King Arthur, so they could probably do that.
So it was very predictive, you could say.
It was just bad.
was ahead of
Like,
its time.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
No, it was not.
Colwyn was the
no.
first to bypass the
Yeah.
compressor, okay?
This came out after Star Wars, so I think they were trying to ride the whole Star Wars hype with this.
Yeah, this
thing.
is after Return of the Jedi.
a lot of like pew pews in this.
Yeah, there are a lot of pew-pews.
Some unnecessary.
Yeah, and I mean it's medieval fiction mixed with fantasy.
Sort of. It sort of seems to me like producer, writer, director all got together and were like, let's make a fantasy movie with no experience in the genre. What do you think should be in that? And then they came up
Cyclops.
with 100 different ideas
Yeah.
and tried to stick them all together.
Yeah,
And it's
Yeah.
it's messy.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
very messy.
Crystal spiders? No?
I love the crystals.
I actually really like the spiders too. I thought that was kind of good. I mean, it very much follows the pattern of some of the movies we've been doing recently. The Princess Rescue for sure. I at the very start really thought it was going to be like this. It's aliens, and they're literally
Yeah, sort of,
aliens, but they're not, right?
Yeah, they bring in this huge army from space and
is
then
it?
never do anything in space.
Yeah. See, it was aliens though, right?
Yeah,
More or
Okay.
less.
They said they came
More or
from
less.
another
Different
world
planet.
or something.
Okay. Okay.
But they
It's-
still use medieval weaponry for the most part.
Well, not the pew pew guys.
Well,
They had, like, blasters,
They had
but-
pew-pews, but then the other side was medieval weaponry.
Well,
That
Yeah.
is the technical term, by the way, the
the
pew pew
pew-pews.
guys.
Yes,
It
no,
was the
yeah,
pew
yeah.
pews.
That's what it says in
Yeah.
the script.
Yeah, it was. There were a couple moments where, so I wasn't sure if they were actually aliens or not. And reading the
Did they come from another
synopsis-
like another part of the space outer?
Well, but like even in the synopsis when I was reading it, it was like they called it like the Beast or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the opening
Yeah, the
narration
Beast.
said, I think the Beast and his army came conquering other
a weird-
worlds, and
This
then we're
isn't.
here. So
This doesn't happen all the time, but Matt, you are like the king of missing the point. This is what you're thinking about?
I was baffled
Are
the
they
whole
aliens
time.
or not?
I was just baffled the whole time. I didn't know,
Aliens.
I also didn't know if. So just spoiler at the very end.
They also fire lasers.
yeah, exactly.
Lasers. I need freaking sharks, freaking lasers on their heads.
You're talking about pew pews, I believe.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
called
pew-pews.
Forgive me.
Sorry.
Yeah. Like I also didn't really know. So I actually think, controversial opinion, the hero of the story is actually the old guy, the older guy that fought, like leads him. I think
yeah.
he's the one that
Mjolnir?
knows
Isn't it?
everything. He knows everything. He knows where to go. He knows what to do,
The old
and he
one,
just
yeah.
like drags the other guy
Well,
along with him.
That's something I had a real problem with in the movie because he seems to know everything about how to defeat this evil army. Well, why didn't he think to maybe mention this before they came in and killed everybody?
I was
Because
busy
that
on
would
the
make a very
mountain.
good story, would it?
I was not
guess.
needed yet.
He was busy with the spider lady.
I have a lot of goats,
their
okay.
marriage falling
Well, he's
apart.
like, you need to climb that mountain and get the glaive.
And then at the end of the
But
movie,
I'm not
you don't
going.
need
No,
the
I'm not.
glaive.
I didn't get it.
But
I
that's
didn't
not
get it
even how
first.
glaives work.
Oh, it's really up there. I've never seen it, but it's up there.
glaives don't even work
Go
that way.
ahead.
It's terrible.
So, Aaron, you kind of defended this. What is your
How?
Why?
How and why are both really good questions.
I don't
Brian.
have like concrete words for it. I just think most of it works. Some of it's pretty bad, yeah, but I can look past some of it.
I mean, it does have like the trappings of why you would like a fantasy movie. It's all there. Like you can indulge. This is a movie where you can, if you want to indulge in that stuff.
I think this is
it
far
gives
better
you
than
stuff.
Never Ending Story.
Oh, whoa.
Every criticism you'd give this movie, I'd give to that one.
Hold up.
Absolutely, I'm with him.
Oh,
Thank
got-
you.
Yeah.
You know what?
I did not care.
Never
for
Ending Story was like
What is happening,
masturbatory
Josh?
on
I
the
don't
levels
know.
of metaphor.
Josh, I don't understand.
I don't
this.
know either.
I don't.
Matt, we need to like.
We
do
should
it.
just talk.
It's like they
About
wrote the
other
metaphor
things?
for Never Ending
Yeah.
Story, and it's like, how can we put a story on this metaphor? We got 5 minutes. Go. The nothing.
I just saw in my notes the Roman candle guy. I also said he's the Steve Coogan guy.
He's also the
Oh,
teacher
Ergo?
in Willy Wonka and the
like,
Chocolate
wizard
Factory.
or whatever.
Okay, so I made a joke about it being Steve Coogan when
really?
my wife walked in the door, and for like the next 10 minutes, she like looked at me puzzled why I would have said the joke. I don't even remember what it was. And I said, "Well, that's not really
That's
Steve
not
Coogan."
actually him. Yeah,
And she's like, "What? No, he's right there."
he looks just like him.
Yeah, I think I wrote down. He's what you would get if Stan Laurel played Dr. Smith in Lost in Space. He's just got that look to him.
Yeah, he really does.
You guys are referencing a lot of things that I don't know about.
He
so-
didn't have his Wonka balls in this movie. You saw Willy Wonka, right?
Yes.
I
he's
don't
the
remember
teacher.
him in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The teacher who's doing math problems about Wonka bars.
Okay.
Which of the was it? It was Willow, right? Where there's the transformation into the animals.
Yeah, the
That's
morphing.
Willow.
Yeah, yeah.
the
Are you trying to
morphing.
hurt Matt again by talking about Willow?
Yeah,
Well,
no,
I'm
no.
just
Willow's great.
I'm
Let's let
referencing a
bygones be
similarity.
bygones, okay?
Here's something I'll give Willow. It did the like goofy animal transforming better, much better than this
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
Okay.
This movie he's a goose at one point. There's a puppy for some reason.
Why
Because
not
the kid
a
wanted
puppy?
a puppy.
The kid wanted
His
a
wish
pup,
was to
but-
wish for a puppy.
Yeah.
But then it just
and then he said, like,
happened.
why not
But
100 puppies? Because he was
okay.
trying to be good for the kid.
I understand, but it didn't do anything. It did.
It made him happy.
It's just
well,
like a random
Is
thing.
that not
Are you
just
against
all
children's
you need?
happiness?
I am. That is my platform. Is
Oh.
anti children's.
Yeah, well,
I knew it.
when I was watching it,
I'm okay with that, by the way.
very first transformation into the goose,
Yeah.
I was like, man, that effect is great for not using any computer animation.
Yeah, yes.
It just shrinks down. And then for the whole rest of the movie, they never show the
Never did it
transformation
again.
It's just
Yeah.
like
That
it
was
happens off
very
screen
he
every
just
time.
all of a sudden he's a tiger.
Yeah.
Like they didn't show it. Yeah.
That effect actually killed the animator, so they had to go without.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I just saw Liam Neeson is in this movie.
Yeah,
He
Liam
is.
Neeson.
First movie.
Is this early? Is this his first?
I
movie?
think it's his
It
first
would.
movie.
It would
Very
almost
early
have
for
to
him,
be.
yeah.
It's very early.
He and a
Liam
bunch of other
Neeson.
people came from like the same acting school.
Well, yeah, like they're all in the Royal Shakespeare Company.
That's
And
what
this
it was,
movie is
yeah.
loaded with like these huge epic stage actors, and it wastes them entirely.
I
I
wouldn't
feel
say
like
waste,
it's a
but they
theme with
didn't.
movies we watch.
Okay, so they make Robbie Coltrane dress up like Mario in this movie, give him like 4 lines that are all dubbed over by somebody else.
You're a plumber, Harry.
Yeah, they give him a weird mustache, and yeah, it's
You're a plumber.
it's weird.
Kill the pew pews.
I wouldn't say waste. That wasted is a strong way to put it. Not completely utilized.
Okay, yeah, they're definitely underutilized.
I feel like but even if they were random people, I do feel like this movie sets up a lot of characters that aren't important. Like they kind of just, and by the end they like just casually kill them.
they're all
Ernest
dead,
Hemingway
yeah.
would
And
argue
then-
with you on that.
They just kind of throw them away, and then like the Cyclops, which I thought was actually one of the cooler characters personally.
He blinks.
Just gets
He does.
smashed in a between
Yeah,
a
he
the
gets
stone
squashed like
door.
a bug.
He is the Hodor.
And then they just no one acknowledges the like.
If we don't talk about him, we'll
the
go
guy
away.
that saved our lives 2 or 3 times. Oh, he's dead.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
let's
dead
keep
now.
going.
Well, he
your
knew
axe
when
in
it was
there.
going to
Anyway,
happen.
when he puts his axe into the doorway, it's like not even at a good angle. It's like it's
Yeah.
like the worst attempt ever to save someone's life.
Well, but like, and again, they set up some stuff, like the fantasy trope. The old guy, because he knows everything, is like the Cyclopses they have one eye because of this big backstory where they gave up one eye and so they could see the future, but they got tricked and all they can see in the future is their own death. They don't play that in when the Cyclops actually dies.
No.
They
Yeah.
don't even like tie
because
it
he
together.
references earlier that this is the day he's going to die, but then he doesn't die on that day. He dies later.
So it was wrong in the first.
And so
oh,
it's like he talks about, I'm going to die, and then he
Oops.
doesn't really die.
I was wrong.
And then he comes back later and he's there again. You're like, oh, so
See, I was right.
Didn't die.
No.
And then he dies.
Well,
and you're like,
Thursday. Oh.
This
Oh,
leads
sorry.
me to a real problem I have with the plot in this movie. And it happens multiple times. And that's like with the Cyclops. Everybody says, the Cyclops cannot go past this point. The Cyclops says, I cannot go past this point. And then 5 minutes later, he's
on a
his
horse.
way.
There he is.
It's the same with the glaive. They keep telling him, you can only beat the bad guy with the glaive. He says, I can only do this if I have the glaive. And at the end, they're just like, fuck the glaive. Do it
Yeah.
this other way.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's.
and the other way is
the-
fireball hands.
Yeah,
exactly.
he all of a sudden
It's
has
like
fireball
just-
hands now.
Hey,
I've
yeah,
got this
okay.
power now.
to their
It's
credit,
amazing.
they set that up in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
whatever.
like with a little tiny
It wasn't
pocket
a
of wedding
strong
fire.
setup, but it was a setup.
It was terrible.
Not like shooting nuclear rays out of his extended fingers.
Yeah, I mean, the special effects in this were actually worse than the Roger Corman Fantastic Four.
Really?
Which
I was all in. After that first transformation into the goose, I wrote down that the effects in this movie are fantastic.
What's
Yeah,
that- what's
only
The mats are great.
the only
and then after
the
that,
only
they're
bad
just
stuff is like the
terrible.
blue screening. They kind of
Yeah.
skimped out on that. Everything else
Yeah.
was pretty on
Yeah.
par with other good
I
stuff.
thought it was
Well, like-
okay. I didn't mind that special. I liked the monsters when they were killed. The pew pew guys when they were killed and the like weird
Yeah.
slug creatures
Yeah.
would come out.
Yeah,
I
and
like
they had
that.
the animated like I don't know laser fire around their head whenever they get
Oh
smashed
yeah,
in.
yeah.
And in
I
general,
like
the
that.
Let me come over. I'll show it to you.
is it on the?
No, it's not on the Plex server.
I couldn't find Hobbs and Shaw on there. You said it was on there. I couldn't find it.
I
think I got rid of
think
it.
I think we're back.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
back.
we're back.
Oh, we're on?
back.
Hey,
Hey,
sorry, the
everybody.
fire came
Awesome.
through and we had to put it out again. That's the thing that happened.
What the
Yes,
terribleness
we are
of
live.
terribleness of Krull was like just immediately
It
shut
shut
down.
the
Just like
apartment
you guys
tower.
really
Yeah.
should not be talking about
Okay,
this.
this
Yeah,
isn't the
it's-
worst
it's
movie
really-
I've seen like this week. So
This is not the worst movie I've seen. No, Miami Connection takes that title.
oh, you go to hell and you die.
Followed closely by Cannibal the Musical.
You guys are gonna bring this into this space, huh?
I'm sorry.
Look,
It's
I'm-
okay.
I'm trying to be
Is it gonna get
professional
personal?
here.
If you need like a mediator, want to use the space as a mediation, we
doesn't
can do
listen
that.
when I
No,
talk
because
about
I don't
Miami
trust you
Connection?
because you don't like Willow.
You don't trust the therapist. I don't know where we left off, other than I remember fireball hands. So
Yes, Fireball Hands. Yeah.
We talking about whiskey or?
No. Fireball's not real whiskey.
handles of
Hold
It's
on.
fireball.
true. It's not real whiskey. I'll agree with
Destroying
you.
a beast with magic wedding fire.
It's cinnamon bad decisions.
Well, I like what's so weird about this movie, which I think there are moments where I genuinely enjoyed it, and I know it. Like when you look at the production value of it,
Some of it's great.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
These big sets, like they're on location on these mountains and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and that all looks really good. I looked on the Wikipedia was like. Like those actors were really in danger
Yeah.
when they were doing that.
The
stuff.
main character kid did most of his own stunts.
Yeah. So there's the weird, like, kind of when you watch it with that information that it like makes it kind of odd, but it looks pretty good. Like as they're like trying to explore it, like go in the crack of this weird.
It looks really
mountain
good when you're
range thing.
dying, Colwyn.
Yeah, exactly.
So I
mean,
think
it's
that
not-
that worked okay, I guess.
It's not as dangerous as the Crow was, apparently. But
Well,
Well, no,
that
but-
one has problems.
Like the guy that played Colin, he got really hurt, didn't he? Like in the scene where he climbs down in the crack in the ship when the floor opens up and then climbs back up. I guess like the
couldn't tell
day
you.
before they did that, and he got caught.
Oh.
And it's these two massive set pieces.
Whoa.
And yeah, he got hurt pretty good, but the next day he was able to try it again and barely made it out.
Whoa.
so did they build this set, or was it shot somewhere, or
I think a lot of the sets were built.
The
Yeah,
sets
like-
were built, but like the mountain range stuff. The one you're talking about though, I guess would have
Yeah,
been
inside the ship would have
constructed.
been
I mean, the
Yeah.
set building in this was actually pretty good. If this
Okay.
was, these are built sets. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll give them
Well,
credit on that one.
That entire swamp set was
Mm-hmm.
in a set, like in a soundstage, which is amazing.
Pretty good.
It's huge.
Pretty good.
yeah, there were no ROUSs though.
Nope, not in that one. Just
That's okay. I don't believe they exist.
pew pew guys rising up out of the
Just
water.
pew pew guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how their pew pews work on after being wet.
Yeah, or are they like living down there? What's going on?
I don't know.
How did they get into this one?
I barely could track if he was a monster or an alien, or I don't know what any of the things were. I just know they were there.
And then like
They're
the
bad
Cyclops
guys.
comes like flying through and like kills the new
Yeah.
Seer because he discovered the old Seer's body because they did a really bad job of hiding it in the quicksand.
Oh yeah.
Like the one guy died.
Oh, yeah.
The one guy dies in the quicksand, but then the dead
Yeah, the
body
dead body
rises
just
to the
floats
top.
up.
You find that, yeah.
Oh,
So if
how
you're
did
in
that
quicksand,
get
I
there?
don't
Oh.
know. It was really bad. I'm so confused.
I forgot about
Yeah, like hey, there's an
Oh,
old man.
Everybody
there.
must not turn around. There's some,
And he's like,
there's some
"That's
plumbing
really a fake
problems in my
guy.
swamp.
He's a changeling.
Well, but like even the spider scene, which I thought was pretty good. I liked the webs and then they had the crystal spider come out and it was kind of cool. But it stopped there. There was no tension whatsoever. It
Yes, there
never-
was.
Oh no! It didn't even get close to him.
The web's
Yeah.
attention.
I felt tension.
I love the scene
I
for the
didn't.
effects, but that whole segment with the what's her name, the widow of the web or something.
Spider. I just put Spider
Like,
Woman.
and that got so dark too, because she's like, "I killed our baby."
And then he's like, "Oh well."
No.
Yeah.
And he
I
was
was like,
like,
this
okay,
is
it's fine. I love
dark.
you.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
like,
Then
just tell me
again-
where the thing is.
Just be beautiful again.
At least she wasn't Asian, like the other movie we watched that used the stereotypical Asian Black
Spookies?
Widow. Yeah, that was bad.
Oh, that was great. That was a super effect too.
Oh.
No.
One of the
No
reasons.
pee-pee and coke jokes or
Oh God.
No vagina-looking faces. I mean,
Oh man.
once again,
No.
this is 16 and over.
I love the spider scene in this because the effect that they did there with it crawling through the web, and it's stop motion, and for a spider, that's really
It's
complicated.
decent.
stop
Cool.
motion.
Yeah,
But
there
they,
was some cool effects.
It was cool. It was definitely cool for sure.
they used a
Was it cool? I
projection
thought it was
trick in
cool.
there that's straight out of King Kong. Like when King Kong's
rear
got all the guys
projection?
in the log, and there's another guy
Yeah.
in the bottom. I think it's called single frame rear projection. So they can use it with stop motion, where they just show one frame in like a cave behind them,
right.
and then move it, and then adjust that so that it looks like everything's in the same shot. And
Yeah.
it worked really well in this movie too.
Yeah, and I think it looked really cool. They just never. To me, the only time you saw him and the spider in the same shot was at the very end, and
Yeah.
it wasn't even close, really. Like
Yeah.
they weren't like the spider was never
Well, they
Yeah.
could only project it
right
into one
onto
spot.
it, right? And so it just was like it kind of muted. Is like I don't know. It could have been so much more exciting, I guess.
Well, I think the worst thing about this movie is that all of the good stuff that was in this movie, they just skipped over.
Yeah,
Like all of the stuff that was actually good about this movie, like the set design was cool, and like the animation for the changing of the animal for the time, especially. I mean, this was 37 years ago.
83, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the spider, all the scenes that were really cool looking, they kind of just glossed over, and they.
To be fair, the
gave us
opening
a
was
lot
quite
of-
spectacular.
They gave us a lot of
Yes.
pew pew and not a lot of woo woo.
That's going to be the quote for this one.
Did they
Yeah.
mention at any time in this movie before their feet burst into flames that these horses were special flame flying
Flame
horses?
fire.
They make a
forces.
small reference to it, I
Okay.
believe.
I think that they did.
Because
I
that came
remember
out
that.
of nowhere for me.
The problem is that the scene before it, while they were trying to wrangle the horses, was just so long and so boring. It's just like, let's wait around.
That is my
and
main
we're gonna
problem with the movie is that
And-
I would have
and
taken a
also-
red pen to the script.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
There were some cool ideas, like fire horses is a cool idea, but then the way they arrived at it was just kind of dumb and
There was a lot
clunky.
of
yeah,
lot of
it's
fluff.
such a scrambled clusterfuck.
So I was kind of curious. So we were talking about the Spider Woman and the guy. I just did not follow this movie at all.
No,
Was the prophecy that? So I wrote it down exactly as it said. Prophecy was a girl will become a queen and she will find her king, and that their son will rule the galaxy.
Yes.
Yes.
Is our main character the son?
No.
Well, he rules the galaxy,
what-
but then the sun will rule the galaxy.
What's the prophecy? Does
they
the
just-
prophecy come
They
up?
just run their kingdom? I don't know. The prophecy just doesn't enter into it.
So
I thought that maybe
so
the Spider Woman lied and didn't kill the son, and that it
No,
was
no, no,
tying
no,
it to
no,
those
no.
two.
Oh.
No, the main character is the son.
No, she
that
is a
finds
murderer.
bride, and then they will have a kid later. that
They
the
will
guy.
have
Yeah.
one
So
later.
The
Yeah.
ginger lady.
I don't know
the
if they, are
princess.
they trying to set up a
Sequel?
A sequel, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Please no.
I don't know about a sequel, but I have another problem
Krull
with this
2.
movie. They tell you in the first 5 minutes with the monologue how it ends.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
kind of
no,
a-
I mean
that's kind
that's
of a
the
bummer.
whole prophecy. Like he's the son that has to find a bride, and I like how they instantly fell in love. Like they
Yeah.
were like,
They
"I
did
love
not
you."
instantly fall in love. That's how the arranged marriage thing works. You just kind of fake it till you make it.
Oh, the whole Spider-Woman fits into the thing I was talking about earlier because they say only the Emerald Seer, is that his name?
You got
Yeah.
me.
Can tell you where the Dark Tower is going to be. Only him. And then
No.
as soon
Then
as
he
he's dead, they're like,
dies.
oh,
Over.
and this other lady can too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like all of a sudden, I forgot about this woman that I was in love with once that can now tell us where to go.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
So here's. I don't want to go too. We can keep going and talking about some of the stuff we didn't like. I'm going to just say, and I feel like we have to appreciate it, and I'd be surprised if you disagreed. But I felt like James Horner's music makes the entire thing
That's my
passable
number
for
one
people.
note that soundtrack is
excellent.
spot on.
It's a really good soundtrack.
It makes it.
I thought it was derivative, but I couldn't tell you of what.
Probably
Well,
other James Horner stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It
I mean-
sounded like some of the other movies we've heard from.
It's
It
a
was
good
good.
score.
It was
I mean,
good.
I like a good score, so it
Yeah.
makes a good
I
score.
just feel like
It
I've
was
heard
good.
it somewhere.
It
that wasn't
elevates a
Krull.
lot of this stupidness to be like, okay, I'm not going to turn this off.
It turns into
immediately.
epic stupidness.
epics.
Yeah.
when I clock into work every morning.
I thought what did you guys think of the weird? So the princess gets kidnapped for kind of similar reasons as Legend, maybe like that he
They
wants to
don't
marry
explain it
her.
very
or,
well.
Like
He
I
just-
don't know.
He's like, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Well, he
I want
wants
a girl.
So he wants to rule the galaxy,
Well, I was
and
gonna
so
say,
he
does
wants to
he
marry
know
her.
the prophecy and he wants to marry her?
Yeah.
If that's how it
Does
worked,
he?
I don't think
Yes.
they said so.
I don't know.
don't
So that's the
remember
whole
that,
point.
but-
Like he
okay.
knows. Like,
That would
I
make
think-
sense.
I think everybody knows the prophecy, and so he's trying to marry this woman so that
okay.
his son can rule the galaxy.
I
but
think
he
your
wants
fan
to rule
fiction
the
works better
galaxy.
than the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably my fan fiction normally does.
Okay. I thought the sets where she was in the like weird alien kind of things or the eyeball and like that was kind of just like somebody was scribbling notes. It was like, yeah, we'll just do that.
Yeah.
We'll just do that one.
That looks like it would be good in a fantasy movie. Let's put it in.
People
Yeah.
will think it means something.
Yeah, and the Beast has so many
It worked for
powers.
Never Ending Story.
But yet this bladed
gonna let that
boomerang
go.
thing can kill him.
Yeah, that's like the
I
world's
called
most
it
ineffective weapon.
I called it a fidget spinner with knives.
yeah,
Well, the
Yeah.
glaive's a real weapon. Like it's a real weapon in medieval fiction.
But
and,
that's
and
not a
stuff.
glaive.
It's not a glaive. That's not how glaives
a
work.
glaive is like a knife on a stick.
It's
no,
a
no,
saw
no.
meringue.
No, glaive's an actual like spinny thing.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's got 3 blades normally.
Because I thought it was something on the end of a pole arm or something.
No.
Whatever.
By the way, he finds this glaive very quickly, very
yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, it's so hard to get to.
The old guy's like, oh yeah, it's up there. You're never gonna find it. He walks in. It's like, oh, here it is. Got it.
And
he's like, "I'm
river of
back."
Jello.
And yeah, I thought, is this
Flaming
lava?
Jello.
Is
Yeah.
your hand gonna
Well, he
burn
just
off? He's
reaches
just like,
in.
oh, it's fine.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, in my
it's weird.
experience, a river of jello would probably mean I'm being drugged, but
Or it means whiskey jello.
Yeah.
whiskey jello.
Any more interesting notes, Matt?
No, I wrote down that his pants were like he was wearing like football pants.
You
the whole
really
movie.
Vertical
dissected
stripes,
this movie.
okay?
Like you really dove into like this movie.
Man, vertical
wanted to
stripes are
I
slimming.
wanted to understand what the fuck it was.
Oh, there's the scene where the dudes are trapped in the room with the spikes coming out of the wall.
Yes.
And they are all
yeah.
just dumb as hell about it.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm gonna try and move around through these other spikes while they're moving.
I feel like at some point they were impaled.
One
And
of
then
them
all
One
of a
was,
of
sudden-
yes.
them was, but they
And then-
don't even react to it.
He was impaled, and then in the next shot, it's 4 inches away from him, and then in the next shot, he's dead, and it's stuck in him. So,
But then the other two guys are fine, which doesn't make any sense.
Also the thing-
It collapsed at a certain point where
Yeah.
everyone should be dead.
Yes. No. At the one point after they kill the beast, the guy is impaled, and the thing leaves his body, and he's no longer impaled, and is somehow fine because the beast is dead.
You guys think you're so smart. Let's see you make a Krull.
Okay, so like Torquil.
I think
What
I
is a
could.
Krull? What is it? Why is this movie
Yeah.
named Krull?
Is the
I was
planet
joking.
Krull?
That's the land they're in, right?
The last time
Is
I
that
watched
it?
Yeah, the
Matt.
land of Krull or Kingdom of Krull. Or
Okay,
something.
okay.
the last
all right,
time I
all right,
watched
all
this
right, all
movie
right.
with my old roommate, every time something would come on screen, I'd be like, "Is that the Krull?" Now, the Krull is the name of the planet.
Okay,
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 that's-
all right.
yeah.
I was pretty sure.
I didn't catch anything.
So you've watched
guys.
this movie more than once, is what you're telling me?
Two
loves it.
times, in fact.
You have purposely put yourself through this twice.
Yes.
If I'd
Wow.
had time, I'd have watched it twice just to
You
make
would.
sure of a few things.
Yes.
You love bad
Yes.
movies, though.
I don't. I only like mostly
I was talking to
good
Matt.
movies.
Which Matt?
Smeltzer.
Oh, me?
Yeah,
You're
other
supposed to say,
Matt
like,
is
the
actually
good
rational and
Matt,
logical
or-
like I am.
Yeah, I'm not. I like bad movies, but I will not go out of my way unless it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
spectacular.
Well, this movie is not the kind of movie that I usually love, because this movie is it's a lovable mess, but it's not real entertaining for a long
Yeah.
movie. It's so slow.
It needed to be
Yeah.
shorter, yes.
It was 2 hours long.
Yes, it was.
It's a long.
Yeah,
I
movie.
thought that was a
Well, they
misprint.
spent 20 minutes of that riding the horses through different fields.
Well, and that's what's so weird is it's so long, but the big moments are got like
I know.
he kills the beast the end boss pretty fast. I
don't
felt
know
like
about
it was.
that.
I
I
thought
don't
it went
think
fast.
you
had a glaive.
really
Yeah.
kill the beast at all at the end before the fire hands thing, because he just chucked the glaive up in the air and then it zoomed around for 5 minutes.
Yeah, like
The
it
glaive
attacked
did all the
him,
work, really.
doing
and then like
crazy
bounced
stuff,
out of
yeah.
him, and then attacked him again. It didn't go back to the throw, which is how it should work.
That's
the
true.
glaive
we just
I-
watched.
it had a mind of its
And-
own.
And then the
It is-
force
yeah.
power stopped working for a little bit. And,
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
Yeah.
That's right. I even wrote. Yeah, I skipped a spot. You're right. It was a little bit longer than I remember.
Well,
So-
Krull's great. Let's rate it.
Oh, it was not great.
Before we rate the movie, I just because I'm curious. Actually, you know what? Let's rate it and then I'll ask my question.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not going first.
I'll go first.
I'll
I
go
guess.
first. I give Krull.
I'm not going first. I'll go
It's-
first. I'll go first.
I'll be honest. I don't think it's a great movie. I would not recommend it to everyone, but sci-fi diehards, fantasy diehards, yes, I would recommend that movie to them. And on those lines of logic, I give this a 4 out of 10.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll go. We'll let our guest go last. I gave this. Obviously, our scales aren't totally different. Actually,
Yours and mine are the
Aaron,
only ones that are
pretty
consistent.
similar. I gave this a 2 out of 10. I initially had a 3. But I knocked it down to 2.
Those bad blue screen shots really knocked it over.
I just couldn't follow any of it. But I mean, there's something there to your point that there's if you really enjoy fantasy stuff and really enjoy just like generally absorbing this type of story, like this
There's
has
something in
this
there.
has stuff. But
2 out of 10, something for everybody.
it's not very good. Something for everybody. Matt, what about you?
The script is atrocious. The effects are really bad. The cast is great though, and the music is superb. So I gave it a 5.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
I half enjoyed this movie.
Not highest
Exactly.
score.
Yeah.
So I'm going to
Go
kind
ahead,
of do what
Josh.
you did on our podcast and kind of give us 2 different ratings based upon
There you go.
Oh,
different
it
things.
tips into that zone. For
Are we going
you.
in
Okay.
aggregate
So
here?
as
or-
far as like just general movie,
Uh-huh.
it gets like half a star from me because it's just terrible. But if you look at like the artistic design behind this movie, like the sets and the music, and like the special effects of the time, and just the acting and like the actors and things like that, I mean, I'd give it a 4.5. And
Okay.
there's a lot
So
of
would you
there's a
say
lot
like
of things
a-
that in this movie that have all the makings for a great movie, but because of the way it was shot and the way that it was cut and the way that it was scripted, it was just bad. Like it was hard to follow. Way too long. But as far as just purely like visual side of this movie, the visual side of this movie is really good. Like the set design was amazing. I love the score, and there's all the stuff that I did like about it, but it was just so hard to watch the movie. It's
Yeah.
it's like the movie The Happening.
It's a slog.
Like The Happening is so long, but like everything around The Happening should be good because like the visual effects are good and Mark Wahlberg's a pretty decent actor and
Most of the
bees
time.
but it just in general the movie was too long.
So does that aggregate to 2.5, rounded up to 3?
We'll go 2.25.
2.25.
Two
All
then.
right, down to 2. Okay. So that kind of gets to my one of the last question, and it's kind of fitting. You guys were on the episode where we reviewed a kind of probably what is this, the worst one we've done of the
Probably.
grouping.
Probably.
Although you hate Neverending Story
I
apparently.
really don't like it.
I really don't get it. I'm so sad.
Oh, I get it completely. Still don't like it.
I don't get why you hate it.
Because it's all metaphor, nothing else. Everything else is secondary.
What, you don't like pervy dragons?
What was pervy about Falcor?
I mean, it has one. of
Falcor's the only reason to watch the movie.
It has one of the saddest scenes ever in a movie.
I don't know about that. Have you seen Marley and Me?
Have you seen when the horse dies?
The horse dying? Yeah, see, the horse dying in quicksand or in the swamp or whatever.
Of
They tried to
despair?
do that
No.
in this movie with
No.
the one with a human being.
Yeah.
They
Let me
could've
tell
let
you
them
something.
down.
No.
He's like,
I
who's
felt
that guy?
nothing
Like,
for that horse.
Get out of here.
In
You know
Neverending
what?
Story, I had just met that horse
That's
5
true.
minutes prior.
He wasn't
You have no
around.
heart.
That's true. Aaron didn't like the horse.
I need to
Okay,
know
so
a
Matt,
horse
too.
before I care
Quick note
about
on
it.
this movie real quick. As a person who's actually had to break a horse before, there is no way they could have broken those horses that fast. Just side note on that.
Well,
What, did you need like a
maybe
large
fire
hammer to break the
horses
horse? Or?
That's not how it works. Yeah, that was completely unrealistic.
So just because you guys are here, like we've just reviewed kind of a quirky, like kind of terrible fantasy movie, but you guys appreciate movies like that. You even gave a rating of like what's the side scale for why we enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious because I think we just did a bunch that were strictly fantasy, all within the same zone, and for this genre is interesting to me because they're all so specific. They're so specific in terms of like medieval stuff, but then it has such a big impact for people. I don't know if you guys like connect with fantasy in general at all, but just thinking about this, I think it's interesting how we joke about Willow, but like that movie connects with people, and these movies connect with people on like a huge way. And obviously,
On often
Star
a
Wars,
visual, auditory
Star
way.
Wars takes it to another level. But like these types of movies and all sorts of fiction, not just movies, really hit with people. I don't know if you guys have a reaction, even watching Krull, like what. As a genre, what fantasy can like how you relate to it, or if you don't really.
Okay.
I love fantasy personally.
I-
I'm a huge Arthurian legend fan. Anything to do with wizards and dragons and things like that, I've always been a big fan of. I love Game of Thrones. I love the show Merlin. I mean,
The
fantasy.
Sam Neill show?
For me, in general, I'm a huge fan of fantasy. I mean, anything that's medieval fiction, I'll watch it. The Witcher was really good. So,
What do you think? I guess is there anything that you've latched onto that's like kind of what is there something specific about it that for some reason you it really resonates, or is it just overall just this specific type of world building? Like you just connect with it.
I just really wish I could be a wizard. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I mean, there is a wizard
like
that
a-
exists in the world. He lives in New Zealand. So
I think the only way to become a wizard is to be
retired.
celibate until age 30.
But I mean, there is a wizard in New Zealand. That's a true story. So that's the thing for me. I love magic. I've always loved magic. I love
Yeah.
watching street magic. I loved watching
For sure.
Garfield growing up, Chris Angel, all that stuff.
Mind
And it's one of those things that I don't even care how it works. I just love watching it.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
to me, it's such a skilled thing, and it
Yeah.
requires. I mean, the Harry Potter stuff. I mean, I love all that stuff. It's just so much fun to watch.
Sure, Matt.
I really have always loved fantasy movies, but they have to be well executed. They have to have a really strong base to build on.
Yeah.
And like some movies, like this one, like Beastmaster. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
we talked.
They're
Yeah,
so
I haven't seen it.
So either have no establishing property. Beastmaster actually comes from a book that
Oh.
they changed completely for the movie. Yeah, it's about like a Native American guy in the future blasting people with a laser or something. That's not what the Beastmaster movie's about. But like The Lord of the Rings,
Excelente.
Conan, all these movies, they come from other properties where the world is already built and they can play in that whole world.
Yeah.
For sure.
And those work really well. You get a movie like Excalibur that just draws completely upon the Arthurian legend, and it's a superb movie.
Yeah.
And those just work great, and some of the others, like Krull, don't.
So I know what Ben would say. Maybe Aaron, you could chime in, but like I feel like there's something about fantasy versus sci-fi, and it's kind of an obvious
Often they're
difference.
same.
But sci-fi as like more grounded in reality. It's like it's a potential in the future, maybe.
Yeah,
like this
it's
is something that
possible.
could happen. Versus fantasy is strictly like imagination and like
magic is real.
Yeah, that's something that doesn't exist in the real world could happen, and I enjoy living in that
magic
reality.
is real.
I
Sure,
saw
sure,
Penn and
Josh,
Teller.
it's okay.
Have you seen some stuff Chris Angel can do? I'm just saying. And that, for
gonna
me, that's
walk
what I
through
think.
this
That's why
glass.
Star Wars
First I gotta tie my shoes.
like appeals to so many people because it's got both
got a
science
little bit of
fiction
both. It
sides
blends
and
both.
fantasy
Yeah.
sides too. Because they're like the ships and stuff; those could exist, or the way Darth Vader's built could exist. But lightsabers, they're ridiculous.
Well, and what's interesting is I think fantasy is kind of making more of a comeback, whereas I thought it seemed like sci-fi had kind of taken over a little bit. Maybe that I'm just kind of generalizing, but it's interesting to me that these kind of imaginative medieval magic-based stories are kind of coming back, especially on TV. I guess is more.
Well, Harry
maybe
Potter
more
had a
so.
big part to do with that, though. I mean, the
that's-
Harry Potter phenomenon was so huge.
Well, people want magic to
then,
be real.
Yeah.
and then you got like the Magicians, which is really good. I mean, the magic's kind of always been there. I mean, Charmed was back in the late '90s, and it did really well. But science fiction took over so hard because Star Trek took over so bad.
Right.
I mean, it was just Star Trek was a huge thing for a long time, and all the different spin-offs of that, and so it kind of just took over the culture.
Yeah. Well, and just, thinking about, we did all these movies, and they're all kind of in a time box, like this 80s time box all at once. And while we can think about like Lord of the Rings and they're these big franchises, but it's not the same, I don't know, maybe it's not the same breadth of.
I think they come from the era where Dungeons and Dragons really exploded in the early 80s. Right as the satanic panic hit and ruined it for everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just trying to capitalize in a lot of these.
I have a few thoughts on this, man.
Go for it.
At least for my part, I can't speak for everybody, but I consider fantasy and sci-fi to be one and the same. It just depends on what sort of framing you're putting on it. But they all have something in common. It's all about having like magic or what high technology, what have you. It's all about giving the person reading or watching it. They want to experience having more agency in the universe. That's kind of what I think it's best at, and possibly like a historical tie, because that's the whole reason that that dude wrote Lord of the Rings, is because he wanted real English mythology, because they were kind of lacking in that area. But that I guess that could boil down to agency as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about
Anybody can save
having,
the universe.
Yeah, more power and more control over things. I mean, just in general. I mean, if I could have magic, I could do more things.
If you could just have a glaive and fireballs, you could do
it's like
Exactly.
whatever you want.
The guy who quoted is like the greatest advancement of technology are indistinguishable from magic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Arthur
just-
Clarke, was it?
I think that's who it was, something like
Okay.
that. But
No, it had to be somebody else. I'm mixing it up.
I don't
No,
know.
I think it was Arthur C. Clarke. Yeah.
It
I'll
may have
mix
been.
it up.
We can Google it.
Okay.
So-
So we ended up with 5, 2, 2, and Aaron, what was you 4? You were 4.
I gave it a 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Krull. Next week we're gonna do.
Yeah, it was Clark.
We're gonna do.
yeah.
We're
I
doing
was right.
our big Oscars, the whole week of Oscar stuff and predictions, and we're rekindling our Grouch thing. You
the
guys,
1 week a year I don't wear a robe.
What? You gonna wear a bow tie?
No bow ties, actually.
Bow ties are cool.
I do agree, but I do not own a bow tie.
are you trying to sell some bow
That's
ties on
that's
here?
a Doctor Who.
Hey,
It's
he's
a
a
Doctor Who
Whovian.
reference. I'm a Whovian.
What? So Matt, Josh, what are your what's coming up with your podcast? What do you want to plug? What do you have to share for our
Well,
listeners?
next month we are doing Mac and Me,
Yep. Mac and me.
which
we've done on this
yeah,
show.
you guys
We did
have
a long time ago.
So you guys want to listen to see what we thought about it.
To be fair, we didn't do a podcast. We did a watch along.
And then we come out every single month, so we'll have another one in March. I don't ever know the movies beforehand, so I don't know. But we've already recorded February, that's why I know. So I don't know what's coming up in March. It'll probably be another terrible film.
Most
Oh, I guarantee it will.
That's what Matt does to me.
Okay.
So
You should do Kung Pao.
Yeah, we did that.
I wanted to. No, right now we're in the middle of a celebration of all directors, but mostly Stuart Raffle,
Okay.
the director of Mac and Me and Tammy and the T-Rex. And we have 2 more months of that, Josh.
There's 2 more.
2 more months.
What a power
It was
block.
only going to be 1, and then I realized he directed another real stinker.
did he do this one too?
No, this was Peter Yates. This was Peter Yates.
Peter Yates did some
He's
good
a
stuff.
I
great
don't
director.
know who these people are.
He
You guys
directed-
talk about these. Like, you guys are like such movie buffs, and I'm just like, duh.
Peter Yates directed Breaking Away, the 3rd movie in the holy trinity of Indiana sports movies.
I
Yeah,
don't know
it
Breaking
is.
Away either.
Oh,
It is
it's an
pretty
amazing
good.
movie.
He did The Dresser. That was produced and directed.
And yeah, I want to throw in just because it was on our podcast too, but people can tweet at you guys.
Yes.
What like
To win movies.
Yeah.
Did
I haven't checked this week to see if
did
anybody's
Ben
won
ever
yet, but
tweet at
we'll
us
see.
to take the Ghostbusters movies
I,
away?
don't know,
from
I haven't checked in
Oh.
4 or 5 days.
Okay.
That's good.
Peter Yates did Bullet, okay?
Okay, I
Yeah,
know Bullet.
I like-
So, if you tweet at Eagleton, YGLTON,
That'll be in
and,
the YouTube description.
Yeah, if you
talk
listen to our
about-
last episode, there's a hashtag
yeah,
you can use.
there's the hashtag T-Rex Robot Sex.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
That is the
My
fun
goodness.
hashtag.
Think of the children.
So,
Exactly.
16 and up.
all you have
16
to
and up,
do
that's right.
is listen to the podcast and tell us which one of the phenomenal movies that we're giving away you would like, or if you want all of them,
Yeah.
or
Can I get
some
a copy
of them,
of Krull?
or I mean, we give away things in our podcast, so you should listen to us for that very
yeah,
reason.
Exactly.
Yeah, strict Brett.
It's
Also, we have
also
amazing
basically
guests.
me berating Josh.
Yeah.
Oh wait, berating Matt. I'm Josh.
Yeah. No, you berate Josh just as
I
much
do.
as you
Yeah. So, and then occasionally our producer jumps in and gives us interesting facts that make
Yeah.
me realize that I love things I shouldn't love.
Or like, the truth. So,
Wow.
you can't handle the truth.
Well, thank you guys for coming on. This was really fun. Well,
yeah,
you guys
this is
can
great.
come
I
on
really
whenever
enjoyed
you
it.
want. Hopefully next time it's a better movie.
Hey, now.
but yeah.
Hey, I'll come back whenever you invite me.
Is this the first time the Golden Shovel ever failed?
What?
huh?
I think it was, Aaron. I'm sorry.
I have a unique ability to pull up movies that everyone seems to like.
Yeah, you're going to have to get to digging again.
I'll
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Until next week. See ya.
And